Oh my goodness! There's a lot of stuff to unpack, especially in now, bro, in the gaming industry, bro. Everyone's just a big baby. The big babies. I don't even know why AC Shadows has controversy, to be honest. That's also what I'm going to say right now, because I actually have been playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. I didn't buy it. I have the Ubisoft Plus subscription on my Xbox. So I honestly, and also you get the premium version. You get the premium version. So I got like the legendary armor set and crap and bull. So I mean, it's been going pretty smooth. Combat is great. The graphics are great. The Xbox Series X has smooth, crisp frame rate. Like, it is smooth. It is very smooth. I really wish I could play it on my PS5 Pro, but I do not own it on the PlayStation 5. Not only that, but for some reason, Ubisoft Plus is not on PlayStation. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's weird. They have, like, Ubisoft Classics on here, which is you get literally a lot of games. You're just missing literally, like, 15, and which is more of the newer titles. It's weird. I don't know what PlayStation is doing. But I'm recording this on the PlayStation 5, playing Killing Floor 2, and I feel like it was a fitting game that was close enough, I guess, because Killing Floor 3 was in a little bit of controversy considering the beta went horribly wrong, which is kind of unpacks the first thing that I wanted to talk about was basically just like how it's not the devs' fault in some games. Like, it is not the devs' fault in some types of games. And I feel like it's happening more prominently and more like consistently in newer titles that games are not doing well solely based off the community has nothing to do with the devs. Now, I'm not saying that like, oh, back then and like, I mean, there's still some current games that yeah, it is the devs' fault. But most of the times, it's like sometimes when you get what you want, you still aren't happy. Like BO6, people are saying BO6 is boring and all this other stuff, and it's like that is like not even the developer's problem. First of all, if you're bored of a game, that's not the game's fault. That's a you problem. Because I've literally seen people on TikTok, a lot of channels or a lot of accounts saying, "Yeah, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is just boring. You know, I can't get into the ranked. I can't get into this. I can't get into that." And it's like, okay, that's not the developer's fault. That's a you problem. If you're bored of a game, because some people find, shit. Some people find digital chess fun. Some people find tower defense fun and stuff. And all you do is just place monkeys and pop balloons and stuff. I like tower defense. I play that a lot, but some people may find it extremely boring, which is fair, but some people find it fun. So there's, first of all, to unpack it, first you have to understand that like to actually review a game properly, you have to take out of, oh, if it's boring or happy, because it's like that's a subjective thing. Oh, I have so much fun playing this game. Oh, well, I think this game is boring as hell. That's not a developer's problem. That's not a game's problem. That's just a perspective from the person. Now, there are some facts and opinions that do go into a game, of reviewing a game, and obviously, like, Cyberpunk back then, it was factually terrible because it literally couldn't work. Even when Cyberpunk came out and you were on Xbox, Xbox literally had the article, like, when you went to refund a game, they literally had it to where if you had Cyberpunk, they would fully refund it no matter how much time you had played on it. They would fully refund you. And even before you even purchased Cyberpunk 2077 on the Microsoft Store, it would literally have a warning sign. I'm not kidding. A warning sign saying this game may not work as intended. That's how broken it was on console and even on PC. Now, about AC Shadows, I feel like a lot of people are, or the controversy that even spoke around it, which there shouldn't have been any controversy at all. Like, there should have been absolutely zero controversy, dude. I mean, it was literally, I mean, it was almost to the point where it was just like, really? People are that upset about Assassin's Creed Shadows? Because you got some people that, oh no, bro. The black guy's in the fucking game. It's woke garbage. And even though it's not, it's because there was an actual black samurai called Yasuke, bro. Literally. Not to mention, bro, I don't think people understand also the history of just other things that are in the game. Because number one, historical fiction is everywhere. That's what even Ubisoft said before they even made the game, even for other AC Shadows. It's like, yes, there are historical real life figures in here, but this is obviously not what they did. It's almost like it reminds me of the movie, Abraham Lincoln, the Vampire Slayer. You know what I mean? That was an actual movie, and obviously we all know Abraham Lincoln was an actual fucking person, actual president, all that stuff. But obviously, he didn't slay vampires in his time, obviously. So it's historical fiction, taking a historical figure or historical place, time setting, and all this other stuff, real events, and just kind of making an own side story or basically your own story with those characters. Because Yasuke was real, but yeah, did he fucking team up with a shinobi and all this other stuff, and make a whole new clan, riding on the backs of horse? No, 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 it wasn't that. He did no, 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 no. So it's historical fiction. They even say that in the beginning of AC Shadows. So I don't know why even that still sparked controversy. But even then, a lot of people still thought it was just like woke garbage because again, like black people, I don't fucking know why. It's so stupid, bro. Every time I say it, it sounds fucking stupid as shit. Oh, you're brown in my video game? Woke. Sorry, that's woke. A woman in my World War II Modern Warfare game? Woke. Even though there was World War II soldiers back then. Women World War II soldiers back then, excuse me. The other thing want to talk about is also like kind of just how it just doesn't make sense on how sometimes there is controversy for these games. I mean, I can even with Concord. Before I even say anything about AC Shadows, let me talk about Concord. Concord, first of all, I'm mainly going to be pointing out like Asmongold is racist. I think they're literally just racist and bigots. They are. Because, again, most people, I mean, even when Condor came out, I thought it was like just woke piece of garbage, even though it wasn't. It fell off because of the marketing mainly. The marketing was not even there. First of all, the trailer didn't even hit. The only thing that people even talked about was basically the controller, because the controller, PS5 controller. But the main reason was the marketing, and another main reason was just the game was $39.99, which isn't bad for a multiplayer game, yes, but considering it was a MOBA, every other MOBA was free to play. I guarantee you if Concord was free to play or whatever, I feel like, it probably would still most likely be alive today, probably, or at least wouldn't have shut down in 2 weeks, like how fast that it did. But again, it just wasn't woke garbage. And again, I wanted to play it, but I never got the chance to, obviously. I mean, I can't anymore now. And it kind of sucks because I'm a huge fan of MOBA games and I really wanted to see what it had. Because again, like they wanted to actually try and do something different. Because comparing to other MOBAs of the day, now I'm not saying Concord is better than Marvel Rivals. Again, I never played it, and a lot of people probably haven't because it's shut down obviously in 2 weeks. But Marvel Rivals is getting like fame and all this other stuff in players for no reason at all. There's nothing new that Marvel Rivals is doing that Overwatch or Paladins or any other MOBA has not been doing. Now, if anyone even wants to debate on that, they could, but let me throw in some sprinkles of here, or basically actual factorials here. Number one, if you're going to say anything, because I'm going to mainly compare Overwatch to Marvel Rivals because that's what people are comparing it to. Overwatch 2 is not way better than Marvel Rivals, but it's the same thing. Marvel Rivals is doing nothing different. There's no reason for Marvel Rivals to be like famous as it is because first of all, it's just literally Overwatch with Marvel's characters, but not only that, the price, because I know people are gonna immediately say like the prices in the store and all this other stuff, and it's like no, Marvel Rivals also has not DLC prices, excuse me, fake discounted prices. And basically, if you go on the store, they have skins, basic ass skins. One skin that is like 2,600 of those like blue credits or whatever, and that's like $15 but it's marked down because the original is like $20 to $25, which is obviously not true because why would anyone spend $30 for one Spider-Man skin or an Iron Man skin or anything like that? It makes no sense whatsoever. So they have fake discounted prices and overpriced cosmetics. Now a lot of people are going to say like, oh, you can earn those blue credits in the game. No, you can't. Yes, you can. Also, no. You're making it sound like you can get it and you can get $20 skins every day or every week. No, you would literally you would have to play like almost a month to even get somewhere even half to get a skin. You would literally have to be grinding for at least 2 months with the battle pass, which is already costing $10 because you don't get the blue credits free in the battle pass. You only get like 200 of those credits free in the battle pass. All the other stuff is locked if you don't have the premium version. Not to mention, but a lot of people were saying like, oh, you can go back to the battle pass because let's talk about the battle pass because I think a lot of people have not said anything about this. You have to own the battle pass in the premium version to go back to it. You can't just buy it when it's because like right now we're in season 1.5 of Marvel Rivals. You can't go back to season 0's battle pass. And a lot of people I knew a lot of people I was surprised because I thought like, oh, I can just buy season 0's battle pass and then work on that and then go to season 1.5 or season 1 battle pass. Nope. it would not let you access it unless you had the premium version already. So if you didn't buy the battle pass and the season ends, too bad. Now, if you own the premium battle pass, then the season ends, then you can go back and do it. So you still have to pay money, which is stupid as hell. Because I would rather, have access to it. Because again, like you basically just don't have access to anything of it anymore. Because I mean, Halo Infinite, which is a game that again already did previous battle passes way before Marvel Rivals even came out. You were able to go back to any battle pass or any operation you wanted and pay for it. It could be season 1 battle pass, the first season of Halo Infinite. It could be that, and you can buy it and play it. If you start it if you start Halo Infinite now, you can start from season 1 battle pass and grind your way up, literally. And they are cheap as hell. I think it's less than $10 for the seasons, and for operations it's like $3. But again, the thing about Halo Infinite is just that it doesn't have that much content, but it's still fun. But back to the Marvel Rivals thing, it's just not doing anything new. There's nothing that they're doing that's new. You still got your dive tanks, you still got your Captain America, your Hulk, you got those are your dive tanks. You still got your burrow tanks and your tanks that literally are supposed to push in the enemy lines, like the Thing and all this other stuff. You got the damage absorbers, all that. Penny Parker is the damage absorber, the Thing is the damage absorber because they rush in. They can rush in. That's what they're supposed to do. You got your DPS, you got your snipers, your flanks, your flyers, Iron Man, Star-Lord can even be a flank. You could just have all of that. Your snipers, obviously Hawkeye and Widowmaker. It's just they're doing nothing new, and the game is like famous, and I always ask myself for what. And again, I'm not saying because I played a little bit. I'm Plat 2 on PlayStation 5 on Marvel Rivals. I am. So I have played ranked, and I have played a lot of Marvel Rivals. I have, because you have to go in there knowing like what's up, and I'm telling you, there's nothing that's gaga about it. And the balancing in the 6v6 is nothing different. And counterpicking is still a thing in Marvel Rivals, by the way. If you're going one tank or one healer, they'll either go that healer or they'll go like a counter towards that healer or tank. Like let's say the team has an Iron Man, right? Let's say the enemy team has an Iron Man. All right, well let's go Bucky, Widowmaker or Hawkeye, so we can get him out of the sky. I mean, shit, you can even go Iron Fist if you wanted to. So it's like, really? Counterpicking is still a thing. And that's the same thing even with tanks as well. But I'm not a tank main. I don't really know too much about the tank counters to the other tanks, like, what Penny Parker's counter is or Thor's counter is. Not really entirely sure, but I do know that there are counterpicks. And again, even the modes are the same. Push the payload, capture the objective, hold the objective. It's the same shit. They're not doing anything new. There's no new modes. There's no new nothing. If anything, the ranked is a little bit better, and the ranked is actually more solid, but it's still every player is silver or gold. So kind of like a yes and no that it's a good thing. The ranked is like slightly better, but the SPM, and even skill-based matching is in the game. People said that there wasn't skill-based matching in the game. Yes, there is. And there will always be skill-based matching in games because nobody in hell would want to be a new player going up against immediate level 1000. That's why skill-based matchmaking exists. It's just not tweaked good enough, because I understand that there's a lot of tweaking that goes into skill-based matchmaking. And I do think that and even on Call of Duty side, there just needs to be more tweaking on that part. But skill-based matchmaking is a good thing, so new players don't get their ass beat every time they get into a lobby, and makes it unfun and unfair to new players because, obviously you're going to need new players to make your game go big. Now, on the side of that, back to AC Shadows. One of the main complaints, or one of the main things that I think, even Asmongold even read something and even said, like, about how female sumo wrestlers weren't supposed to be in the game and it's an insult to Japanese culture or whatever. No. There were female sumo wrestlers back then. There were also even female ninjas back then during the Odo time period. Even before then, even before the Odo time period, there were. And now, obviously, in the Western, obviously now, like, not in the Western world, but in the obviously today's time, there's a bunch of female soldiers. There's a bunch of female, I mean, there's female congressmen. You got congresswomen, excuse me. You even got female mayors. We even had obviously candidates for female presidents. Because on the thing about female sumo wrestlers and stuff, I have an article here. Let me read it real quick. Let me get my piece of paper out, right? My piece of absolute techno, and this is obviously from literally Wikipedia and all this other stuff. Women sumo, because a lot of people were saying that because there is a woman sumo character in the game, in Assassin's Creed Shadows. The first recorded instance of women performing sumo, according to the Nihon Shoki, is when Emperor Yuryaku 418 to 479 summon 2 courtesans and order them to wear loincloths and to sumo wrestle. Now that's only just one instance, but that was even way before the Odo period for female sumo wrestling, by the way. And literally again thing, women's sumo would not become common until the 18th century in the middle of the Edo period, 1603 to 1868, which is where and near the time AC Shadows takes place. So women's sumos were a thing. So them having a women's sumo character is not disrespectful to the Japanese culture. It is actually a part of the Japanese culture, deep into it. And these are all forms from Wikipedia and stuff like that. All articles, and even on the topic of AC Shadows with Yasuke, we all know about that. Yasuke is a very popular historical figure. But even before then, there was the first shogun ever. The first shogun as a Japanese general. He was a black man in the year 803 A.D. Sakanoi no Tamaramu, and he was a general and shogun of the early Heian period of Japan. There were literally other black samurai or black shoguns in Japanese culture. So it's not even disrespectful that they could have even added more African American people. So again, I don't know really where people got so up in arms about Assassin's Creed Shadow having a woman sumo character, having a female, a female shinobi, because there were female shinobis that were called Kirochis or Kenoshis, and they were supposed to be carried out through tasks because they weren't. Yes, obviously, it was more common to have a male assassin or male samurai even, but even then, they were used, female kenoshis and female, assassins, you can say, or female shinobi. They were used to carry out specific tasks. Mainly, they were just used to gather intel or just another thing. Actually, fun fact, more history coming in from that, bro, from AC Shadows and all this other stuff, and the controversy that it did not need at all. Because a lot of people even claimed that Ubisoft was paying people to like the game, paying people to say that the game was good, which didn't make any sense whatsoever. Because number one, first of all, that's illegal, I think, and also not even if it isn't illegal, it's highly immoral, and I feel like people would find that out, and I don't think that Ubisoft would do that, considering they're a huge company. I don't know why they would just be like, oh, let's pay this guy just to say some good things about AC Shadows and not any of our other games that are failing. Specifically just AC Shadows. It doesn't make any sense because why would they do that now, but not for like Assassin's Creed Mirage or Avatar's Adventures of Pandora or whatever, or their Far Cry 6 or something like that. Specifically just AC Shadows. It doesn't make any sense why they would do that. And even then, another history lesson, there were actually female samurai. There were female samurai back then, believe it or not. But they were called onamusha, is a term referring to a female warriors in pre-modern Japan who were members of the Bushi warrior class. They were trained in use of weapons to protect their household, families, and honor in times of war. Many of them fought in battle alongside samurai men. So actually, they did fight. Now, again, most samurai were men, obviously, but there were samurai women, believe it or not. So again, this is honestly not even just wokeness. It's just normal culture that we don't even, really think about, which is kind of sucks and kind of doesn't make sense of why people would hate a game without knowing anything about the culture or pretty much anything about the game at all. Because honestly, Assassin's Creed Shadows is really good. They are doing fantastic it's probably one of the most perfect games in my opinion in terms of historical fiction. The combat is great, it's smooth, it's crisp, the graphics are amazing if you're on console and or PC. It came out well optimized out of the box, man. Cause I got AC Shadows in the game. I got AC Shadows like almost during day one because I had the Ubisoft Plus subscription, man. And it's like, dude, you gotta knock it out of it knocked it out of the park. I didn't even experience any glitches yet. No crashes, no nothing, no frame drops, nothing. Do you know how rare that is for a game, bruh? Which kind of sucks that it is rare for a game. But on the topic of also even with Activision right now, a lot of people still complain. Again, going back to BO6 now, people still complain about BO6 even though it literally does everything better that Cold War did and all this other stuff. First of all, number one, people are stuck on nostalgia for Call of Duty. We need to move forward. I understand the movement and all this other stuff because a lot of people have some, I guess, valid reasons about everyone's too sweaty, everyone's too this. Any game, you're always going to get sweats. Believe it or not, people Gears of War still has sweats. The dead game that nobody plays anymore, Gears of War, still has sweats. Any game has sweats. I mean, Tetris has sweats, man. Tetris, motherfucking Tetris. Tetris has sweats. So you can't always use that as an excuse for as a game to be bad. Because I know, because everyone and their mama has said that, like, oh, it's too sweaty. Oh my gosh, man. I mean, you can just literally look up on TikTok, Call of Duty too sweaty, and there'll just be a bunch of videos and accounts just saying that like it's too sweaty, it's nothing like the old Call of Duties and stuff, and it's like, yeah, no shit, because we're not back in, we don't, there's not time travel. We went 10 years forward, not 10 years backwards. Another game that also failed on Ubisoft's side, which shouldn't, is Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones is fun. They have a lot of quests. They have so much shit to do in the game. The graphics and the stuff are pretty decent, actually really good. And again, I don't know why people hated the game, because it wasn't like AC Black, because people were comparing it to Assassin's Creed's Black Flag or something, saying like, look, the water, has a little bit of more ripple when you go into it, not like Skull and Bones. And it's like, bro, because they have to like not cut corners somewhere, but like, dude, you do realize that everything else is upscaled, right? Like if you compare AC Shadows, because they always compare like the small shit. I always see that when people compare new games, they compare the small shit to games that are like previous. They're like, oh look, when I shoot the water, a little sprout comes out. Like I'm ever gonna be shooting the fucking water. And it's like, dude, because everything else is rendered up, why don't you take the ship? Why don't you take the land? The whole rendering, the quality of the character models are way better than obviously, but nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about the other stuff of games. They only talk about the small stuff like, oh, look, when I shoot a gun, a little bit of smoke comes out from the barrel. Super realistic. And look at this game that came out in 2024. No barrel smoke when you shoot out on a gun? Oh my gosh. And it's like, what? Really? That's the problem? That's the problem with some games, really? Doesn't really make any sense sometimes. I know I never really understood why people sometimes hate games. I mean, there are sometimes genuine reasons to hate a game, like, Infinite Warfare. That was a pretty shitty COD in the sense of like it was pay to win with their literally broken class setups that you got from loot boxes, their MK2 variants, there was even a variant where you can literally have two LMGs in your hand, just mowing people down. It was crazy. So Modern Warfare 2, I mean not Modern Warfare 2, Infinite Warfare was super unbalanced. So again, I can see that. I can see that. But even so, AC Shadows is a great game. Obviously, if you're thinking it's woke or whatever, you're very, very wrong. And again, people being paid to like the game is not true. There's no proof of that. There was no proof that Ubisoft came out and said, yes, we have paid this streamer to say something good about our game. Because again, if you take the logic behind it, why wouldn't they say it about any other games that have failed that were big projects, like especially Far Cry 6? Because Far Cry 6 failed for no reason. Again, there wasn't wokeness. Maybe because you played as a woman? I don't know. Because the story was decent, and Far Cry 6 was honestly really good. And the villain, I think a lot of people, again, are hooked on nostalgia and just wanting Voss back for some fucking reason. I mean, Voss was a good fucking villain, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, like, bro, if every villain was fucking Voss, the game franchise would be shitty. You have to have other types of villains. You have to have other types of villains. Other types of people who are just crazy instead of just like more. Because like even in Far Cry, you know what I mean? Far Cry 5, it's like the villain was more like with the ethereal stuff, more like, oh, God has chosen me type shit. Purification. Purification obsession. You know what I mean? It's just stuff that just it's not the developer's fault. There's a lot of games that it's not the developer's fault on why they failed. It's literally the community just not giving in, because a lot of people would rather play the same garbage over and over again. Because I mean, look at EA. They when they make other games, it doesn't get talked about that much anymore. And sometimes they do leave their games to die, but also because everyone keeps saying they want something new, but continue to still play FIFA, NHL, and all that other shit. And it's like, dude, you're not gonna get an answer if you're gonna keep sucking up and playing to their own game, dude. And another thing is, like, especially with old Call of Duty, a lot of people are like, oh, we should go back to the old ways of Call of Duty and stuff like that. And it's like, we as, community, as gaming community and all this other stuff, can go back to the old Call of Duties and just repopulate them. Like, we can literally just repopulate them. We just choose not to. So it's like, it's like the servers are still up for all the old Call of Duties. We can go back and repopulate them if we wanted to. We just don't want to. And a lot of people even been complaining about Black Ops 6's bundles, and because they released a TMNT bundle, I believe, and it was like $20, $30 for each skin, and people were so mad about that. And people are always mad about Call of Duty having cosmetics and shit. And it's like, um, you do realize that's a cosmetic. You don't have to buy it at all because it's like, oh, how dare they charge $30 for one skin? And it's like, yeah, are you forgetting that you don't need to buy it? Because people even compared like, oh, I have to spend $70, and on top of that, you're gonna charge me $30 for a skin. No, they're not charging you $30. They have a skin for sale for $30. You do not need to purchase it. You can still play your game however you want. Again, it just kind of sucks that a lot of people are just like numb to the fact that gaming is still really good. Gaming is not dead. It's just that the community is killing gaming because they just want to sit and be like, I want to go back to when I was 5 and could barely play Modern Warfare 2. Because most people even say like, oh, fucking Black Ops 1 was the GOAT. You would literally have to be like 30 or 40 years old to actually remember heavily of playing that game. Most people were little jits when Black Ops 1 came out, especially during Generation Z and stuff. It's like you would have to be a millennial or further. Like I said, you have to be like 35 or 40 to actually remember playing the super old Call of Duties like that and actually play them heavily. But honestly, I mean, and even then, some devs actually still do try to this day, bro. Because I mean, Killing Floor 3, their beta was pretty bad. But again, people shouldn't have hated it as much as they had. Now they should have delayed it. Yes, I'm glad they did do a poll for that. But the hate that they were getting was just not necessary at all, man. I mean, like, calm down. Like, it was not necessary at all. I mean, they got massive amounts of hate and shit. And it's like, bro, chill out. First of all, the game still looks fine, but also it was a beta. Beta means the game's not done yet. That's what it means. So why would you expect the beta to work flawlessly? A beta or an alpha test, all that is supposed to be like, oh, this is what we have so far right now. Tell us how it is. Because it's basically like watching a trailer of a movie and being like, yeah, this movie sucks. I didn't like how the character arc was. I didn't like how, she said this and the lore and everything. And it's like, what? You can't determine that based off all just like a trailer. That's essentially what a beta and alpha is. That's what you have to look at it as, because it's like it's a beta and an alpha. They're showing you what they are doing, but they're not done yet. Because I'm pretty sure, even if they didn't delay, I'm pretty sure they would have fixed the spawn issues with zombies, because I know a lot of Zeds spawned inside walls, which was obviously annoying because you couldn't finish the game, obviously. And, I mean, the hate is just strong for some games, even with Payday 3, and it's like, there's nothing wrong with Payday 3. It works good, well optimized. The only thing is, yes, there's a lack of replayability, but you're comparing a game that's 10 years old. Payday 2 is literally like 10 years old or more. Of course, it's going to have more replayability because it had 10 years to sprout. Payday 3 is only like 2 years old. Not even, I think. Or I think it's like 2 or 3 years old, right? It's like, bro, give them, and also they have to make stuff, and it's going to be harder for them to make stuff because it's an entirely different engine. You know what I mean? It's like this is a new engine. It's going to take way more time to graphically render stuff, code and stuff, and do all this other things before they release like new DLCs and stuff. Now, granted, there is some problems with not BO3, Payday 3. Again, I'm not saying like, oh, it's all wrong, what people say, like about the weapon vendors and all this other stuff and the masks being less customizable. That's true. There is some actual stuff that, yes, is valid points on the community side, but most of it is just like, it's just lack replayability, man. It's just, the characters are it's like the characters are the same, voice actors are the same, it's the same shit, man. Not only that, but they keep getting hate for no reason, even still to this day, and it's like, it's one of the only few games that I actually enjoy playing right now because it doesn't have a fucking battle pass. Now, on topic of being woke and stuff, again, with Concord and all this other stuff, it makes no sense. It wasn't woke. Overwatch won Game of the Year, and they had, quote unquote, you can say woke characters. Not really. They were just people a part of the LGBTQ community. Because Soldier 76 was gay off the get go. They already had gay. They already had Tracer. The face of Overwatch was gay. They had gay characters already throughout whatever. They already had gay characters, and the game and Overwatch won Game of the Year in 2016 or whatever. It's like they already had gay characters. They already had all this stuff. So it's like, I think people are confusing woke with just there's a difference between being woke and being sexist. Being woke would be like, oh, let's take this historical character and whitewashing it or blackwashing it or Asian washing it, which is basically, again, not political at all, but I'm just saying, like, which is a thing, because it's basically like let's say they did MLK documentary or whatever, or like the Bob Marley movie, One Love, right? Let's say they got a white guy with blonde dreadlocks to play Bob Marley. People would be like, well, what the fuck? You know what I mean? That would be, fucking bullshit. And vice versa. They have like a white character, like let's say they do something about like JFK, right? They do a documentary about JFK's life or whatever before he got assassinated and stuff like that, like a presidential thing. And they casted like a black character for JFK. It's like that's wokeness. It could be summed up as wokeness because yeah, that is literally changing history for no fucking reason. Not historical fiction at all. You're literally not even getting the character right. Because it's like even in AC Shadows, it's like if Yusuke was white, people would be like, no. If that's supposed to be Yusuke, no. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? So it's a thin line, but you can depict it, whether if it's woke, historical fiction, and obviously just being straight historical. So that's the fine line. You have to understand that woke would probably mean physically altering and changing everything about the historical character you're trying to portray. Historical fiction is still taking that same historical character, not changing its alternative body or anything, or the main stories, or the main kind of characteristics of that set historical figure, but putting him in a scenario that obviously is historical. Like again, like I said, Abraham Lincoln the Vampire Slayer, when not changed. Abraham Lincoln had a beard still. He still looked good. He was white. Shit like that, which is what Abraham Lincoln was back then. He was a white guy, and he slayed vampires. Obviously not true. Obviously, the slaying vampires part is not true, but Abraham Lincoln is. So there's a fine distinction between historical fiction and wokeness. And again, even with when a game is not trying to be historical, being gay or having a gay character in a game doesn't make it woke. Like again with Concord and even with Apex, it doesn't make it woke. Because I know some people, because even Apex had to limit the comments when they released Catalyst, which I think was their first transgender character in the game, or is their only transgender character in the game, I think. They literally turned off the comments on Twitter. And they were basically saying like everyone needs to be more inclusive and stuff, and that is true because there's no reason to hate on Catalyst. Besides that, or utilities are shit. Someone who plays Apex as well, I like Catalyst, but I also don't like her in the sense of her utility sucks. I don't give a shit. I don't really care about her thing. She can be transgender. Cool. That's cool. However, her kit for the game is garbage. That's also another different story. It's like, are you hating on the character because their abilities suck, or are you just hating on them because they're gay? Because that's a different thing. That's just being fucking a bigot. It's not. You don't. That's just being homophobic as well. Again, there's a fine line, a very thin line, but it's very fine. You can definitely see it and talk about it. You just gotta literally a simple Google search, honestly, would just stop the AC Shadows fucking controversy and stop, with all this other bullshit that, when new games come out, everyone's like, oh, I don't like this, I hate it. Assassin's Creed Shadows is a fantastic game. I've been playing hours and hours a day. It's been so fun. So fucking thanks.